That, my friends, is ballsy. It is. It's ballsy to roll into a very crowded field of all types of ultra competent players and seek to make a statement. And the statement is this: I'm going to be better than you. Deal with it. I think to this day, its message to the world is this: I am in your face. Again, deal with it. I am different. I'm not trying to blend in. I'm trend-setting. I'm loud. I'm proud. I do color outside the lines. And by the way, I'm pretty darn cool. I mean, seriously, have you checked me out yet? That is pretty freaking cool. That is its message to this day to the world, says Lieutenant Colonel Nut and Fancy. No, I'm not talking about the pistol. Not yet. I'm talking about the Luftwaffe RF-4 Phantom II painted in this color scheme. Loud and proud, in your face. The bright yellow matte black tiger stripe camouflage pattern, Luftwaffe RF-4. This is a photo reconnaissance Phantom II. And it showed up at a competitive NATO meet, 1985, in a place called Kleinbrogel, NATO Tiger Meet. And all types of competent players showed up, and here rolls in this bright yellow and black RF-4 from the Luftwaffe. It made a statement. I can guarantee it. It was loud. It was in your face, and they're throwing down with that paint job. And the Germans did it frequently, as did some other European countries. They would paint these fighters, these outlandish colorations for these competitive meets. There would be bombing competitions, fighter competitions. The RF-4 probably participated in timing competitions like time on target. I'm talking like to the millisecond. You had to be right on. Maybe speed at getting certain tasks done. It made a statement. This tiger striped RF-4 Phantom. How cool is that? Look at, there's a AG-52 squadron patch. That was a squadron that decided to paint this aircraft this coloration. And this is an actual plane. This is not made up. So this actually showed up at Tiger Meet 1985. Round of applause. Thank you. That is pretty freaking cool. It is standing out. It's making a statement. It's bucking the trend. It is telling the world, I'm going to be better than you. Now, did this RF-4 deliver in that Tiger Meet? I didn't look it up. But knowing how the European countries stacked against the United States Air Force, they probably didn't do so good. I'm just going off memory. I mean, I served 21 years in the Air Force. I went to plenty of competitive meets myself, and we usually smoked all foreign competition in any standard of measure you want to throw down. No, but I'll tell you what. It's a bold and proud statement, and I give it a round of applause. It is very cool. Most of the other aircraft were showing up with this. I don't think the F-106 showed up at that Tiger Meet, but this is a standard, beautiful F-106, by the way, paint job. You know, standard military coloration of the day. Maybe a couple other ones, but look at the difference, dude. So here we go, transitioning to the pistol review. This is kind of like the Glock 19 at the top, and this is kind of like the Archon Type B. How do you like that transition? I love it, Nuttin. Keep rolling. I am. Yeah, everything I said about the RF-4, obviously, if you're following me, can be said about the Archon Type B. Welcome to my tabletop review of this pistol. I think it is loud, proud, different, innovative, in some respects. And it's making a statement of, hey man, I'm going to be better than you. There is a very specific way it's doing that no one else is going to talk about. In fact, I'm going to say a bunch of different stuff about this pistol you won't hear anywhere else. Completely independent review. I'll say a lot of good things about the pistol. I'm going to say a few negative things about the pistol. But I'll go back to the intro. It is bucking the trend. And I do think that is ballsy. Just like this super sick RF-4. It's ballsy. You just roll on the ramp and all these gray planes there, and here comes a bright yellow RF-4. And here the Archon Type B rolls into a crowded marketplace, again, full of all types of ultra, not just competent, but ultra competent handguns. Go to war capable handguns. Look at my playlist. I'm going to show you some competitive offerings to this gun. We will remind ourselves of those offerings and we'll say, you know what? Those are damn fine handguns. And they are. Archon Type B goes, yeah, they're all right, but I'm going to be better. Why do I say that? Well, I'll say this at the outset. Because it is an expensive pistol. That's what I was driving to. It is an expensive pistol. $895 or so retail for the black version, like $945. That's $945 for the Flat Desert Earth version, and that's if you can find it. I'll tell you what, boys and girls, that is a lot of money for a polymer pistol, don't you think? That's also making a statement. The statement it is making is that we are better than you, and it's doing it by pricing. I do want to talk about this a little bit because I do instruct my audience about marketing. How does marketing work? You know, what's the ins and outs of it? You know, customer perception versus reality. I've spent a lot of time on that. You can actually position something as being very, very cool and even better in a consumer's mind by pricing alone. For instance, if I take a customized Glock, this is a Gen 4 Glock 19. We will be referencing this pistol throughout the review, I think, even unless I forget it's up there. But let's say I take this Glock 19, Glock 17, and I trick it out. I mill out the slide. I put on some gold tie-dye coatings on it. I stipple the grip in a certain way. I do some grip mods, and I charge $2,000 for the gun. Is it worth $2,000? Not in my book, but it's positioned in certain people's minds as being valuable because of the pricing level. You follow? And so if some dude pays $2,000 for this fictitious Glock mod, there are some great Glock mods out there, and I've covered one or two of them. Then he's thinking to himself, this thing is special because I paid $2,000 freaking dollars for it. It's got to be special. So if you price something higher than your competition, just by pricing alone, you are making a statement, we are better than the competition. That's why we're charging. Now, where does that cost come from? Probably a lot of middlemen would be my guess. Exchange rate, you bet. This is made in Germany, by the way, currently. Yep. Again, it's appropriate that we have a Luftwaffe RF-4 on the table. German Air Force. German. Made in Germany, I don't think designed in Germany. And yes, exchange rate could come into play. Middlemen could come into play. Importation costs, all those stack up. But dang, son, there's other guns from Germany that go through that process. And I'll tell you what, they're not no $850. Walther PPQ. Let's see if it has a German roll mark on it. Oh, it does, right there. Right there, y'all. Yeah, Walther PPQ. This is an M1 version. Love it. Magazine's out for a reason. How come this didn't end up being $850? It's probably not trying to make that same statement, nothing. Get you. I get you. But that was my point. That pricing alone lends a certain air of coolness in a lot of people's minds. In the tactical elitist mind, yes. There you go. I said it. Yeah. So they're saying my gun's better than yours because I spent a lot more on it. This is a lot better, they're saying, than, for instance, a PPQ or a Glock 19 because it's more expensive. I will drive to the reality of that in this tabletop review. Let's get going. Fun intro, by the way. Enjoyed it. Now, before I get into a features review of the Archon Type B, I would like to share this small observation with you on its availability. It is damn hard to find. It is. There aren't a lot of gun stores that I visited that stocked either its predecessor, the Strike 1. In fact, I don't ever remember seeing that gun in a gun counter, ever. Or this gun, its successor, the Archon Type B. It's really hard to find. I had wanted to review it for a number of years. I had requests from you guys to get one, the Strike 1, for instance, for review. I wasn't successful. Now, I have certain channels that I will acquire the guns for loan. I generally don't purchase them outright right off the bat. I don't. I think that is a foolish expenditure of limited TMP funds. I don't do that. I generally use high quality, trustable gun stores like Gunny's, the Great American Gun Store, or Utah. I did put in requests with them, with Wyatt, for a number of years to get a strike one. At the time, I think he checked, they weren't in the distribution channel. They had dried up already. They went away. Like I said, it lasted in the marketplace like 10 minutes. I know that's an exaggeration, but it was short-lived. But then the Archon Type B came out. I tried to get one through him again, and for whatever reason, it just didn't work out. I couldn't get one. Either he didn't want to get one. He definitely does not stock them in store. But it didn't get removed from my list. I still want to review it. And no, I don't want to go to Arsenal or directly to Archon to get a TNR sample. I don't do that. Well, generally. Sometimes I will if I don't have a choice, but I hate doing that. I like a buffer zone between me and the manufacturer. You guys know this, right? Yeah, you do. So, what to do? I still wanted to review it. Damn hard to find. And even if I did, I don't want to go out and spend, what, 800 bones on a gun just, on a whim. That's a lot of money. So, here's what I did. I went out searching for another high-quality, trustable gun store. I went to a lot of gun stores. Most of them I just didn't like. For a number of reasons I won't go into. I was very fortunate enough to find a family-operated gun store in Salt Lake City, Utah, that will now become an associated gun store with the Nut and Fancy Project. Everybody, please welcome to the project, by association, giving me these loaner guns, Handgun Haven. Round of applause. Owned by the Pratt brothers, as far as I know. Cool dudes. I visited with them a lot before I decided to use them for loaner guns. I like the dudes. I'm just going to tell you, I like them. They seem very cool, down to earth. Their prices in the shop are right. They have a super clean, well put together store. It's small. It's kind of a smaller operation. It's located in a very obscure industrial park near the Salt Lake City airport, kind of near it. And I'll put the contact information below. I'm going to refer to them as HH or H Haven in the description. I'll give you their contact stuff. Drop by. Shake their hands. Tell them thank you for the loaner for this Archon Type B. It is from Handgun Haven. I'm very grateful that I was able to finally get this gun for testing and review. You can thank them. And it was a long time in coming. And I was so elated when I did the store tours. I found this place. I got a really good vibe for them. I hope it turns out to be a very long-term relationship, just like Gunnies. And no, Gunnies isn't going anywhere. I love Gunnies. These two stores are in different markets. They really don't compete with each other at all. And Gunnies can't carry every gun. It's impossible. And neither can Handgun Haven. I need more stores to get certain pieces that I want to review. And there's more coming. Stay subbed. Keep watching the videos. You're going to like the flow of firearm content in this adventure channel. There's some cool stuff that I've been wanting to find for a long time, and HH has it. Okay, so thank you to them. Go buy some stuff from them. Something. You know, if you don't buy your guns from them, order them up. You can call them up. Go buy some ammo from them. So thank you, Handgun Haven, the Pratts. You guys rock. I appreciate you guys sincerely. Here we go with features review. I want to say some good things about this gun right off the bat. Number one, I love the name. Archon is a cool name. It kind of sounds like, I don't know, something that you would yell in combat. Archon Type B. That is a cool sounding name. It just is. Kind of sounds like Icon a little bit. It does. But it's still a cool name. So I like that. It's not some alphanumeric designation that sometimes gets confusing. No, it's just simple. Archon Type B. Good job. Another thing I love about the pistol. Okay? And Hollywood, are you listening? This pistol looks radical. It is a great looking handgun. Don't you think? Yeah, I mean, it is different, right? It's breaking apart from the crowd. It is loud and proud. Part of that are its looks. It looks like a futuristic handgun. And Hollywood, this is what you should be featuring in your movies. I love the Glock. You know that. I love the Glock. Have for years. But damn, dude, it's played out. We've seen Glock in movies and TV shows since the 80s. Time to change it up. Throw some Archon stuff in there. Just saying. Just saying. I mean, I'd like to see some movies featuring this handgun. It's so cool looking. Again, it reminds me of a RoboCop gun. And again, it reminds me, and I think I mentioned this, if not, here it comes again, the Diamondback DB9FS. Also a very cool looking gun. I love it. And of course, it has a very low bore axis, okay? And that is a big selling point for this. In fact, they'll tell you that it's 25% lower than its competition, the Glock 19, this pistol right here. So it sits very low in the hand. Is that truly groundbreaking? No. Sorry, I'm gonna keep it real. It's not. There's plenty of handguns that have done that. Really, really capable handguns, ultra competent. Remember my intro, right? That it comes into a crowded field full of ultra competent players. Here's one of them. Says me, the Steyr M9A1. I love this gun. Highly underrated. Look how low the bore is in this. Same, super low. It's a little bit wider than this gun, and that is a downside. It's a quirk of this pistol, but trust me, this gun's got some quirks too. Every gun does. It's just a matter of if you can live with them. So I don't know if the low bore axis is that groundbreaking. It is cool. I do like it. The CZs have utilized it for years. I'm going to show you another competitive option before the video ends. We'll see that feature again, the low bore axis. We'll talk about how it's shot here in just a second, but I do like it. Don't get me wrong. It's super cool. One thing I'm not sure I like as we jump into features review on the Archon, and yes, I will say some more good stuff about it as we press along here, is this right here. Okay, so this is like a rib, and it's designed to like activate your tendon for a better grip. Something like that. I'm going to call it the tendon activation rib. I would just soon Dremel this sucker off. I hate it. I don't think it does anything. All it does is get in the web of your hand, and it's a little bit uncomfortable. To be honest, I didn't really notice it when I shot, but it's kind of stupid. You know, sometimes in the quest for being cute and different, we put stuff on the guns that probably shouldn't go on the guns. So maybe in subsequent versions, Archon, you just delete that. It's stupid. It doesn't do anything. A guy doesn't need that. I love the grip itself. I like that there are no interchangeable back straps. I'm sorry, I got an applause for this too. Thank you. Thank you. No interchangeable back straps. Why do I say that? You guys know, I've said it forever. Interchangeable back straps are almost 95% not used by folks, according to my imperfect data. It's just a marketing ploy to say it's adaptable to different hand sizes. It's just simpler. The grip itself is fantastic. I love the grip on the Archon. The shape is perfect. The rounded back strap is perfect. They call this a grip mapping texture. It reminds me very much of XDM. So you can see these blocks are angled in different directions. They are somewhat aggressive, and I absolutely love them. Really good. This is a grip you would not have to apply any type of traction material on, I don't think. And another good thing about it, and this is going to be something you have never heard anywhere else, when you get grips that are grip panels, when you get grip blocks like this that are raised from the surface of the polymer, they create ventilation. So if your hands get sweaty, like if you're not wearing gloves like I am now, you can actually create some ventilation under there and dry it out. If your hands get wet, you can dry it out. So that's another benefit for this grip mapping texture or whatever they're calling it. It's a win. Now, when you see me shooting it in the video, because I'm wearing gloves, you know, I'll come up here and I'll shoot. And I am post-shoulder surgery in my shooting on this, so I'm doing better. I'm not quite there yet. But, you know, my hands will slip because I'm wearing a glove. So I can't really lock in on this slippery nylon. So sometimes it slips. But don't take that as meaning this doesn't have good traction. It has excellent traction. Perfect grip angle on the Archon Type B. There's no finger grooves here. All good. Now we have kind of a thumb shelf here on both sides, as you can see. I didn't really find that obnoxious. That's fine. It's right here. It's interesting. I haven't seen an execution like that. We have a thumb indentation here. That's all good. The magazine release is absolutely perfect. It reminds me of just a perfect 1911 mag release, guys. Doesn't it? And it's easily swappable. All you do to swap it out is take the magazine out, reverse it, and then push. If you push, it will pop out that mag release, and you can swap it out to this side, lefties. You won't have a slide stop on that side. It's only on the left-hand side. So it's not a perfect ambidextrous pistol, but it's not bad. I did have someone observe, hey, if you accidentally put your magazine in backwards, you can actually take the pistol out of operation because your mag catch will fall out. That's an observation, I guess, but I've just never seen that. I mean, I guess someone who's super stressed or just not practiced enough could do that. Or maybe on the front of I don't know, an HK catalog where they put things in backwards. Inside joke. Here's the mag well right here. It is nicely funneled. I didn't get pinched in shooting it. Nice dot matrix style polymer base plates on a 15 round magazine. They are somewhat difficult to load. I use an Uplula. I recommend you do as well. I'll put a link below. It is my standard loading tool pretty much now and forever. There are some other ones that I might test, and I actually am testing them. I'll let you know if they're good, but I really like that one. So the magazines are good. This will run with 17 round Strike 1 magazines, in case you're wondering. And you can find those. The magazines themselves are available at the Archon website for about $42. But here's the deal, speaking of magazines, speaking of its price, and I do, somewhat level of criticism at its higher price, but to be fair, you get a lot of magazines with a sucker. Okay, so is it higher priced? Yeah, but you get 4 magazines with it. 4 freaking mags. And that's not all. You get a freaking perfect carry case. This is a carry case with the Archon Type B. I always label it because I have a bunch of guns going through testing, and so that's a way for me to know immediately what it is. They say this is a Maltera designed bag. I have no idea who Maltera is, and I don't really care. But I'll tell you what, you could not find a higher quality case than this. This is superb, dudes. This is the best gun case I've ever seen come with a pistol, ever. And you get some other stuff. You get like some oil that comes with it, their own special oil. This should be a silver Sharpie. It is. And that silver Sharpie is for filling in the squares there with numbers, your initials, whatever, however you want to mark the magazine. So that's cool. They include a silver Sharpie, even has its own little holder here. The elastic pockets are fantastic. Then you have a separate compartment here, a waterproof zipper. It's just the best pistol holster I've ever seen come with a gun. Here's another thing. It's wide enough to accommodate the magazines. I love the 511 carry cases. I use them all the time. Here's one right here. I do have one. Okay, and so this is a 511. Yes, there is a Kimber Micro 9 going through testing. This is a great carry case. I love it, but it doesn't have the width. See this? So here I have another handgun going through testing. There's this pocket, Micro 9's in here. By the way, it has been shooting very good. Just a little insight. That's from Gunny's, that gun right there. Great carry case. I love the 511 carry case. I really do. But my point is the advantage is this one on width. So you're really not scrunching the gun up against the magazines. There's plenty of width in this case, and it's a constructed case that way. Okay, I just want to show you that. And so it also comes with a trigger lock. I told you about the lube and some other stuff. Just really great job, Archon, on the case. It's fantastic. And getting back to the magazines, you don't have to go out and really buy magazines for your Archon because you get 4. I do recommend 8 per gun because you never know when the assault weapons ban's going to come back or they limit magazine capacity, but you do have 4 right out the gate. So if you take that in consideration, you have over $160. Well, we'll say $120 in magazines, more or less. Anyways, great magazines. I like them. Would I like more capacity? Well, it's going up against the 19, so I think that's adequate capacity. And again, if you want to put a Strike 1 17 rounder in there, you can. There will be a gap, though. And generally, I don't like gaps showing on pistol magazines unless they have some type of filler there, because I have found that they will rock back and forth and sometimes change the feed angle and cause jams. Now here comes something somewhat negative about the Archon Type B as we consider its overall construction. It is not really a polymer framed pistol. It is actually a steel framed pistol, and that's why it weighs 28.5 ounces, says nothing fancy. They could get it down to 25 ounces if they did away with this chassis construction, says me. What you're looking at is a grip frame module on the Archon Type B. It still works, it's good, but it is attached via roll pins here, 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 to an internal steel frame that has been heavily machined. It's a bar stock machined steel frame, and the grip module attaches to it. I guess the idea is that the internal chassis is serial numbered. So is this, by the way, this external part. But the gun is the chassis. And so I guess they were thinking, hey, you have one serial number, and then maybe later on you can attach a more compact frame to it, a full-size frame to it. Well, that's not going to work, dudes, for a number of reasons. The first of which is they are not available, even if you wanted to buy one. I'm talking a small grip frame module, a large grip frame module. I didn't see them on the Archon website at all. And I do think they have been promising them for a while. That seems to indicate to me, this is just my opinion, that there's no demand for it. The guys are not asking the company to produce it. I bet you that's the case. Another reason that it's not going to work is because this grip frame module, unattaching it from the internal steel frame is going to be a pain in the butt, more or less. You've got high tension steel roll pins you're going to have to knock out. You might damage your polymer grip frame module in the process. And it's not an easy thing to do. Not like a P250, a P320. It's pretty easy to do those guns. So it technically is a chassis gun. But dude, don't think of it that way. And the downside by making it that way is you have an internal steel frame. That's my whole point in this, is that it's adding, in my estimation, 2.5 ounces that does not need to be in the gun. It would weigh 25 ounces if they didn't do a construction that way. I could be off, I readily admit it, but how nice would it be if this weighs exactly the same weight as a Glock? I mean, this sucker is so light. I think this is even lighter. This is like 24.2 ounces with a magazine in it, the Glock 19. This is substantially heavier, dudes, because of that internal steel frame. Rant complete. It is a somewhat negative thing. Now we go to, I guess, the trigger guard right here. Undercut, get a high grip, although you still have this tendon activation rib to contend with. Really nice grip on it though, and I've talked about this, but undercut, all that's good. Yeah, thumb indentations here, good access, nice square trigger guard, somewhat slanted. I wished it was completely flat, a la Glock 19, a la CZ. Yep, I wish it was that. It's not. I didn't find that my thumb was slipping off even without skateboard tape, but if I were to have this gun, I would definitely put skateboard tape right here. Big enough for gloves, no finger rubbing going on, as I do have with a Glock, and I have talked about that for a number of years. So when I pull the trigger on the Glock, lo and behold, what happens? I'm always rubbing the bottom of the trigger guard. Now, mentioning that, we're going to go to the trigger right now. I think this is a good thing and a bad thing with the Archon Type B. A lot of good things, I believe, are being said about the trigger. It's phenomenal. It does pull very light, 4 pounds, 9 ounces. It is a metal trigger, so there's no trigger flex like some other guns I brought to tabletop. But here's the deal. Okay, and I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I don't like a certain aspect of the trigger. Actually, 2 aspects. One of the aspects is this. Notice that it doesn't have a blade in the middle of the trigger face, so its safety activation is going to take place in a number of stages just as we pull the trigger blade. You can see it operate, and what we get is kind of a mushy take-up on the Archon Type B. Long take-up, and there's just, look, there's just like that mechanical thing going on there. It's not horrible. I'm just saying I don't really dig it. But then when you get down there, you put tension on it and you release the sear, it is a nice trigger pull. And the reset is very crisp. Now, this is a gun I would recommend that you guys shoot to reset. Because if you don't, you're going to have to come out, and I learned this by shooting with this gun, you're going to have to go out and you're going to deal with that long mechanical linkage actuation. In practice, does it like annoy me at the range? No, it doesn't. But here's something that did, speaking of the trigger. And this was on an indoor range outing. I didn't have full finger gloves. I was shooting this, and you may hear me talk about it on inset video. And no, I'm not going to turn that audio up. I'm not going to post it separately. No one cares about it. I'll just use it in inset. But I found that this actually slapped my index finger, and it was very uncomfortable. When I left shooting, and I probably put, I don't know, 250 rounds through it at that range session, my trigger finger was sore. I was like complaining about it. I was like, holy crap, I've never really shot a gun like this, and I don't know really what it was. Now, I was talking about how my trigger didn't drag at the bottom of the trigger guard. It didn't, but there was something going on with this trigger that was making my finger sore. Now, I'm not a wussy. I shoot all types of guns. Heck, I don't even complain about the Kel-Tec PF9 trigger. Everyone else does. But this gun was annoying in that session. I'm just leveling with you. It was annoying. And the good news is I went on a couple more outings and I used full finger gloves and I didn't really notice it. Okay, so I'll just throw that out there as a data point. Like I said, the trigger has good things and bad things. A long take up, nice pull, nice crisp reset. It might slap your finger like it did me. Let me know if you have an Archon Type B, if you had that in comment. Have you had that? Another thing I think that is a little bit overplayed on the Archon Type B is the flat trigger. Okay, I think this is kind of a trend in the firearm industry, and I think it will go away. I wish this had a regular trigger on it. I'll go ahead and depart from the crowd like I always do. Everyone's always raving about, oh, it has a flat trigger. It's more control. I'll just take this, thank you, a rounded trigger. That's fine. It's more ergonomic, less painful, and maybe that was the problem, is these sharp angles on the trigger. And there have been complaints, too, that when you shoot it a lot, the heat from the action will transmit to this blade. Just be advised. Okay, that's the trigger. 4-slot Picatinny rail, that's all good. Lots of room here. I think the overall quality of the pistol is there. I mean, this seems like a German-produced pistol as I look at it, as I've taken it apart to clean it. I cleaned it once during testing, shot it some more, and I was impressed with the construction. However, I'm not too impressed with this part right here. Really surprising, actually. It is a cool look. It's futuristic. It's angular. It's cut out, but this is a very sharp slide transition, don't you think? Right here at the muzzle. Really strange. And I bet you in future versions of the Archon Type B, yes, I do think it will survive in the marketplace. I think they're going to change this. They should. Hopefully from this video. It is unacceptable. Let's look at a competitive offering. So the PPQ. Do you see sharp edges on the PPQ? No, you do not. I don't. How about the Glock? Now, Glock 19. There's a Gen 4. No, it's softened. Now, would that be a huge problem, a showstopper for me? No. It's just a point of reference. That's all. That's all. You have forward serrations right here, back serrations here. They are purposeful. They do work. You can do a press check here. I was talking about how futuristic it looks, how cool it looks. One of the reasons is this step cut in the slide. I think it looks absolutely radical. Is it functional? No. It's just there. It's different looking, and I don't mind it. And unlike the APX, FN, what is it? Or the Beretta APX, it's looking cool without ruining first cool. This step cut right here. Now, another good thing about the Archon Type B, I told you I was going to say a lot of good stuff about it. It takes Glock sights. So if you don't like this sight set that comes with the gun, you can easily swap out any number of Glock sights on it. Hopefully they'll regulate properly for you. But that is a huge plus that they did. Really nice. I do like the sights on this particular version of the Archon Type B. It's very cool. It reminds me of the Heine Straight 8 in the back. Novak style. So this is a metal sight. And I'm trying to think if the Strike 1 had a polymer sight. It might have. I don't remember. And I did handle one, but I just don't remember. But really nice presentation. And then we have an optic insert on this front sight blade. Here's a downside though, and I have talked about this many times. That is a vulnerable sight blade. So you have a plastic light pipe here that can shear off, that can get busted. The sight actually sits really high, and like I said, I do love the sight picture. It's very clear. It rises up adequately. It might even clear some suppressors if you had a threaded barrel. And I don't think they have threaded barrels for this, even though they've promised to make them. No, but if you did, they might clear it. Just be advised, that's probably going to bust off. That's all I'm saying. Going back here, let's take a look. External extractor, nice. Flared ejection port, all that's standard. The takedown is a little bit different on this, and I'll roll in some photos of it. It's pretty easy to do, but this is not a Browning tilt barrel design. It's not. It's a different system. It is what they call a AF speed lock, and I guess AF stands for Arsenal Firearms Speed Lock, so it recoils directly back. Watch when I open this barrel, or this action. Do you see the barrel tilt at all? No, you do not. So what it has is a locking piece in the action, and they say it will not require a Nielsen device if you put a can on it, again, assuming you had a threaded barrel. Now, because of this, the action will take down differently. Not like a Glock, not like a SIG. It's going to be via this button right here. So you're going to close the action, safety check it, magazine out. You're going to retract it just a little bit, and you're going to push on this button right here. See how it raised up? And you'll just take the cartridge tip of like a 223 cartridge or something, and you'll push the pin out, and then you can take the Archon Type B apart again. I think it's pretty simple. You will have to reassemble that locking piece in a certain way. Notice how it comes out of the action because it does orient a certain way. I do think it is more complex than a Glock or a SIG, to be honest. Now, how does this action compare against a very proven Browning tilt barrel, which, by the way, this Glock 19 is? So let's just look by way of reference. I open the action of the Glock 19, see the barrel tips up, and that the locking takes place in the slide right here. It mates in the slide, so that is a very proven, very effective system for a very long time. This one's different. Just to get into the details a little bit deeper on how this action works, here's a good description. It says, the system uses a cam-activated floating U-shaped locking block that locks the barrel, slide, and frame while firing, but drops during recoil. As the block drops, the barrel unlocks and slides straight back about 1/4 of an inch and stops while the slide continues its full stroke. There you go. Again, that is a description on how the AF speed lock works. It is not a Browning design. Advantages are the barrel does not tilt up, and it should be theoretically more accurate. We will check that out in a second. So different, cool. Again, bucking the trends. Again, loud and proud. Not afraid to be different. Yep, both from Germany. By the way, these are index pads, I guess, for your index finger right here. Did I notice them? Not really. There's your slide release right here. I think it's a little bit subdued, a little bit too rounded. It did work though, and I did use it to, release a slide. Speaking of which, it did not auto load. That was nice to see. And by that I mean, when I slam in a magazine, pretty much every pistol I test, seriously, just about every pistol I test, when I slam this magazine in, the slide will close. I don't really mind it. I've gotten used to it. Guess what? It did not happen with the Archon Type B, telling me that this is a very stout slide lock. It does work. Being so low profile, though, I kind of wished, just for lefties, it was on this side. Wow, did I actually say that? Yeah, just because it would be a really great ambidextrous pistol if it was on that slide for those guys. As a righty, I don't care. Oh wait, with my shoulder operation, I have been a lefty. Okay, so maybe I do care just a little bit. Those are features, more or less. I probably forgot some stuff, like it does have big old slide rails in there. You'll see those in the picture, so well constructed. Chassis design, I hit that pretty hard. Let's go on to how it shot. Again, it is a very low in hand pistol. Minimal muzzle flip, very flat shooting. I love that aspect. And again, I recommend you do shoot to reset on this gun. So you don't have to go all the way forward like I talked about and experience that crunchy first portion of the pull. That right there. Once I shot to reset, I loved it. I love how this gun shoots. It's actually very easy to make hits with. Again, in that respect, it reminds me of an XDM series. I know. The XDM has a very high bore axis, not like this. I get you. But the XDM is almost magical in its ability to hit with. At least for me and a lot of shooters that I've let shoot are XDMs. They're excellent. This is a very easy gun to hit with. Again, the pull on this is fantastic. About 4 pounds, 9 ounces, 10 ounces, maybe around 5 pounds, depending. So that portion of the trigger, again, in subsequent outings, I did not notice my gloved hand being sore. Okay, I'm just representing that, so maybe I was just being a wuss that day. Okay, how about accuracy? Well, initially I was absolutely impressed with it. Do remember, please, that I am post shoulder surgery. I don't know if my grip, my stance is absolutely there yet. I did the best I could. I was shooting, as you'll see in inset video, and half seen with 2 hands. These are the results that I obtained. So, to be honest, that's not a great grip at 8 yards. Not for me. I should be able, if the gun is really absolutely stellar, to do this. Or better. They should be in, I don't know, 2 of these squares. That's a really good group for me. what I do say, I don't want to show you that, but these are the targets you normally see. If I get all the rounds within basically a 2x2 inch square, I'm happy. So that does qualify. It got an up arrow. Here's another one right here. Another one. Not happy with that group. Ain't gonna lie. No, but I gotta tell you, I think it's human factors here. I think it was me, not the Archon. Okay, that's a good group. That is, I think, very representative of what the gun does. With a good shooter, which was not me that day, is my point. Group there. A variety of loads. I ran a bunch of JHP through it, both 115s, 124s. I ran about, one magazine of plus Ps. The entire gun with those was reliable. I did have a stoppage with 115 grain NATO spec Winchester. Somewhere along the way I did. Is there a failure to close or something weird bobble? I really blame the ammo on that because that ammo has had problems in a lot of different guns, albeit not in Glock. I'm just saying. I ran the same load through this gun right here. I ran like 4 mags and it ran 100%. Here's another target before we move on to something else. There we go. Oh, dude, look at this. This is actually the first time I shot it. And again, we're seeing intrinsically high accuracy with the Archon Type B. That's 5 shots, guys. 8 yards, but I'm standing unsupported post shoulder surgery. That's not too bad. Another great group. Another great group. This, I think, represents the accuracy better of the Archon Type B. I think at 25 yards, which I didn't do, 2.5 inch group, totally with the Archon Type B. Again, the barrel is fixed. It doesn't tilt up, theoretically more accurate, and I think, yes, we are seeing that in some of these groups. But I did mention, is it better than a Browning tilt barrel design? To be totally honest, I'm not so sure. And if you don't believe me, I'm going to bring in the Masada reviewed separately. I love this gun. It's wearing a TLR-8. It's a nice tier 1 weapon light, laser light combination. Let me show you the target on this. Okay, so and that's a Browning tilt barrel, right? Dovetails in the slide. This was pre-shoulder surgery, so I still had some issues going on here. Look at those groups, dude. So that's a Browning tilt barrel. And by the way, that's at 10 yards in the freaking desert. Oh, I even wrote shoulder. Look at those groups, dude. That's amazing. So I think it's as good, if not better, than the Masada. That's my point. So I introed with that funny intro, right? That this is like groundbreaking, it's different, it wants to stand apart from the crowd. Hey, I'm cooler, I'm better than you, all that crap, right? Is it really better than the competition? Okay, to answer the question, honestly, I would say no. It isn't. And I think I've given some evidence to that fact. I don't think it's better than any of the go-to-war handguns that I've reviewed. How about the CZ-P10C? I did an update video on this gun a couple months ago. It's fantastic. Is the Archon Type B better than a CZ-P10C? Define better. Is it cooler? Maybe. Highly debatable. That's a second cool equation there. So we could go on all day when we're talking about second cool. But if we talk about first cool, no. The CZ-P10C is amazing. I mean, there really isn't anything I don't like about the improved CZ-P10Cs. They fixed the mag release. In this version, I put an Apex Tactical one in it. Perfect. So now the magazine release on this one works great. Great trigger guard. Squared. What do you know? Yep. Great trigger. Non-obnoxious. Works great. Pulls awesome. Never annoys my trigger finger. Great grip texturing. Not as good as this. I want to say not quite as good. We do have the interchangeable back straps here. Better slide release, I would say. Oh, what do you know? It's also on the right-hand side of the pistol, making it a better ambidextrous offering, perhaps. Low bore axis, just like the Archon Type B. And guess what? It's lighter. This weighs like 25 ounces, the same as a 19. That's why in this review, I did square it off against this pistol. I was like, what's better? Is it going to replace the 19? I mean, I was kind of messing around, but really the CZ-P10C, and actually its full-size version too, are great go-to-war handguns. They are establishing a very strong track record, and I wouldn't hesitate buying any variation of them. They are fantastic. I think they're very low priced for what you get. Lower priced than this. I think they're high value. They come in the very cool colorations without having to, take out a loan on your house. Again, this one technically is available, the Archon Type B, in an FDE version, but it's like retail $944. What? Yeah. And then, of course, sitting on the table the whole time, the Glock 19. Is it really better than a Glock 19? In terms of first cool, absolutely not. Does it match the first cool capabilities of a Glock 19? Really, it's too early to tell. We need to get the Archon Type B in a lot more hands, really have a long track record with the pistol, and then we'll see what's up. It's too early, I should say, to tell on the Archon Type B. So in terms of first cool, does it dominate the competition? No, not in my opinion. From what I know right now, in my own level of testing, no. In terms of second cool, go figure. Who knows? It is very cool. It is different. So if you are tired of SIGs, Glocks, CZs, Walthers, like I said, maybe this is a good gun for you, albeit it's expensive. But sometimes to get this type of form factor, something this different, this special, you're just going to have to pay the price. And I did a knife review on that a while back, the A.G. Russell 00. Remember this one? Same thing. It's 8CR13 MOV, which is a value steel, but they're charging like $115 for this. Oh, $125, excuse me. But I love the knife. I love its looks. It's got blue titanium. It's fast. It's super lightweight. It's different. It's cool. Yes, I did jump it with a Dremel tool since you last saw it, and it makes me happier. But that's overpriced for what it is. Way overpriced. Maybe the Archon Type B is the same way. Maybe. But you are getting a very solid handgun. In summary, it shoots flat, it shoots fast. Once you adapt to the trigger, you'll probably like it. It has a great grip on it, great magazine release, excellent sights. It is well made. Unfortunately, it is a chassis pistol, so it's probably 2.5 ounces too heavy in my book, maybe 3. But if you can forget about that, I think you'll really like it. My prediction on this pistol is as follows. I think it will survive in the marketplace. I think it will get a following. People, once they get it in hand, will love it. They'll just add it to the collection. Would I use this as a primary go-to-war pistol? I'll tell you this, I would. I trust the Archon Type B. I would. But in terms of weight, I'm going to go with something like the PPQ. Something lighter. That's just as capable, just as accurate, just as proven in my own systems. I'll go with the Glock 19. If it weighed 25 ounces, then the answer would be different. I'm just saying it would be. I'd go, yeah, I'll put it in the mix. But it is a recommend. I think it's awesome. Go to HH and purchase one. That is my review. Feature length. Holy crap. Sorry about that. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for being part of TMP Patreon. It is the reason I work so hard for you guys. We'll see you next time. The work continues.